by doing it first. So let's move on to our session. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is go new tracks, and you want to grab 3 stereo audio tracks. You want 5 mono auxiliaries, and we want to grab 1 stereo master. Let's cross over to our mix window, and we'll name our tracks original, mid, sides, left plus right, left minus right, right minus left, mid plus side, and mid minus side. Pan mid plus side all the way to the left, and mid minus side all the way to the right. Next, what we want to do is grab the mid and sides, and we want to group these together. I'm going to call them mix. With the left minus right and the right minus left faders, we're going to also group these, and we're going to call them sides. Now, for the sake of clarity, I am going to name these tracks. This is mid processing. This is side processing. This is mid level. This is side level. This is also side level. This is stereo left return. This is stereo right return. Okay, next we want to go and do some routing. So we're going to go setup IO. Click on default. It should look something like this, but if it doesn't, click on default and you should get all your buses there. Of course, we're not on that tab, we're on our bus tab. So click on default. Click on the plus arrow on the first 2 stereo bus channels. So we've got bus 1 and 2, bus 3 and 4. On bus 1 and 2, we're going to call that stereo. Mid, we're going to name that one sides. We're going to name this MS. We're going to call this left, and we're going to call this right. That's how it should look. Let's click OK. Firstly, we want to get rid of the inputs. There's no inputs on these channels. And we want to go to the mid channel. We want to send that to the mid. On the sides channel, we want to send that to the sides. And on the left plus right, we're going to have that come in on the mid. And we're going to send that out the left. We're additionally going to send that out the right, as you can see there. On the left minus right, we're going to have that come in the sides. We're also going to do that to right minus left. We're going to send this one here to the left. We're going to send this one here to the right. On the mid plus side, we're going to have that come in on the left. And we're going to have on the mid minus side, we're going to have that come in the right. Now, as we talked about in the theory section, what we want to do is take these 2 guys, which is the 2 copies of the track, the mid and the sides. We want to pull these down -6 dB. Next, what we want to do is we want to mute this track here, which is the original. And we want to put a multi-mono EQ 1 band. We're just basically matching the processing power so that if we don't have delay compensation, which I don't, we can just make sure that we're processing these 3 guys the same way. Now, if we go back to original, we want to flip the phase on that. And trust me, you need to do this. Otherwise, when you're doing an A/B comparison, you'll be hearing double the track, and it will be distorting your speakers and probably hurting your ears. I recommend you do that. Next, on the mid track, which as we learned in the theory segment was a half times left plus right. The half is taken care of by the -6, and we don't need to do anything with that. On the sides, what we want to do is we want left minus right. The multiplier by half is taken care of by -6. And what we do is we decouple that. We go to the right side and we flip the phase. And as you can see, if we switch between left and right, we've got the left side normal phase, the right side out of phase. or in other words, left minus right. Next, we want to go to our auxiliary. We don't get a choice of multi-mono or multi-channel, so we just go EQ, one band. Let's copy that across. And for the same reasons, we're processing these guys all at the same time, and we want to make sure that we're doing the same amount of processing on each of those channels. And so what you end up with is we don't need to do anything to that. That's fine. Left minus right. Well, we know that we're sending that from the sides here, routing it from here to here. It's coming in the sides, and so that's fine. But if we want to get right minus left or negative left plus right, what we do is we're taking this side signal like we are for this track, but on this one we're going to flip the phase to get right minus left or negative left plus right. And that's it. That's how you set up the template for this session. The next thing to do is to go to your edit window and drag in some audio. Make sure you drag it to the beginning of the track so that all these guys line up. Okay, so let's have a listen to the track. Okay, so it's not so obvious there what's happening on the sides, but you should be able to hear that the track is losing all the middle information when you pull down the middle fader. And when you're pulling down the sides here, you'll be getting a lot drier signal in the middle because you're not getting all that reverb and echo and stuff that belongs to the far left and right. And just to prove that I've got this -6 here right, if I just unmute this channel, because this is the original, if we've got that muted and it's completely out of phase with this, which is the stereo to mid-side to stereo again, we should hear nothing. So let's see if that works. You can see there on the master we're just getting nothing. So it works. And so it's a good way of A/Bing between the two. All you have to do is unmute that and mute that, and you can listen between the original track and the mid-side components. And of course it doesn't matter if you have that one unmuted because you've got that whole stereo track completely out of phase. So if you wanted to do processing on this, and let's, for the sake of exaggeration, we'll put a one band EQ on this again, but instead we're going to chop out all of that, and our baritone won't have any bass in his voice anymore. And for the sake of processing, we'll copy this across and we'll bypass it. Let's have a listen. Obviously in mastering you wouldn't do stuff to that extreme. So yeah, if you want to do processing, let's try something else. Let's be really crazy here and whack some delay on there. Okay, so just as an end kind of word, A warning about MP3, I have no idea how they encode them and decode them. It's a closely guarded secret of the companies that do that sort of thing. But when you try this with an MP3 file, expect it to sound like rubbish, because that's what you're listening to. It sounds to me like all these different things firing across from the middle to the left and the right. It's a horrible mess. You should always try and use WAV files, because they're obviously the best quality, and you'll be able to get the best results by using them. So another word of warning, if you're doing processing on the mid or the sides or whatever, that potentially raises the gain, expect it to also raise the gain throughout the signal flow and potentially peak at the master. And of course, comparing it to the original again, if it's slightly different and you throw this out of mute, you're still going to hear a lot of the track, because it's not an exact copy of these guys here anymore, because you've made changes to this. Make sure that you understand that -6 here, that's like the new unity, and any processing you do that boosts the gain on either of these channels will potentially be adding to the signal chain, and you'll get things distorting throughout. So just keep that in mind, that can happen. If you have any questions or comments, or if you need help with setting that up, you can send me an email at yamahadrums2009@hotmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Any comments or suggestions for other videos that you'd like me to cover, please feel free to email me. And you can also find tracks that I'm working on at www.soundcloud.com/yamahadrums2009. I don't just do opera tracks, obviously. I do rock tracks, I do all sorts of stuff. Till next time, cheers.